But I think that what's interesting is that on a subconscious level, with your chart, your subconscious is really, really fascinating per your chart anyway.
Okay.
If we look over here, we see that your 12th house is over here. The 12th house has to do with the subconscious, and you have your self node there as well as your Uranus. And Uranus is really conjunct the ascendant, even though it's in the 12th house. So in a lot of respects, before you were born, the 12th house has to do with like what happened when you were in the womb, so to speak. And for whatever reason, like there was a certain level of excitement or surprise, some Uranian unpredictability that was going on around you. I don't know if we looked on what happened the day of your birth. I don't know, either it was within your vicinity or stuff that was going on in the world, but you are on a very, very psychic subconscious level, very, very, very charged up. So I think that we could really attribute your success in modeling and perhaps even music to this subliminal charge that you give people. Like Uranus is like the alarm clock. It just wakes you up. And with being so close to your ascendant, two things are happening. One, it's in the 12th house. So when you're doing music, and I think that when we're doing all kinds of art, we're in that flow state. And what happens is you're releasing your subconscious. So in a lot of respects, and even when you're just being you, just existing and being alive and being present, what you're probably doing, because that 12th house Uranus is so close to your ascendant, it's that you're showing people on a subconscious level, you're giving people insight, you're giving people like almost like this you're electrifying people, if that makes sense. Have people ever said that to you, that you're like that you wake them up or you charge them up or you give them almost like a wake-up call, so to speak?
I'm for months now, seriously. I was given a stage by Tim Pool. I don't know, I've assumed most people would know about where I was with Tim, and we had a show that he didn't think it was gonna, it's gonna go here, so I know Carlin's like, we're not gonna talk about it, but whatever.
You take it wherever you want to take it, my friend. Your show.
I mean, really what it was is he gave me a platform, and it became something bigger than he expected, because of that exact thing. I was a co-host. I wasn't just, he wanted to do a guest show, and that's what he's doing now, which is awesome. I am very, people for months have been telling me, thank you for speaking up. I'm very strong in my convictions. When I decide something, I stick to it. And, I also, reserve the right to change my mind, and most people should, but one thing has been consistent especially since our split up from when I left TimcastIRL and started Adamcast, people have come to me and said, I really, really appreciate you speaking up and you helping me speak up. And that's been something that has been prevalent for months now, even before I left the show, because, even just when I said I'm going to vote for Trump, I know it's a controversial thing to say, crazy as it is, but it doesn't seem so crazy to me because I follow logic, and, I feel like a lot of people wanted to say all this and even wanted to tell Tim all this. He constantly tried to tell me I was wrong, and I constantly said, I don't care what you think. If you think I'm wrong, that's your opinion. I'm giving you my opinion. And people came to me and were like, thank you. I've been wanting to say that to him for years. It's kind of funny. So, I mean, that's definitely true. Like, people have come to me and multi different ways, that saying thank you essentially for helping me speak up, and it's great.
Yeah, and I think Sagittarius, just by your very nature, think of the whole concept. Your approach is to mount things and like take them over, and Sagittarius is big. Like when Jim Morrison, granted, when he got on stage, he had to get shit faced, but still, like, he was a presence. He was the front man of the Doors. So when you're seeing life in such a big way, and because you also you have Jupiter in your first house, you're a big presence. So to have, I don't follow the whole thing. Like, I don't really know Tim Pool, but
that's okay.
if this was his show, I think it would be very tough for him to have somebody who has such a Sagittarian, Jupiterian influence because.
I know what Carlin's about to say.
I have a question. I
know what you're going. Oh, you got a question.
I have a question. I'm going to ask and Adam, you are abdicated of responsibility for the question I'm about to ask. Joshua, from a professional astrologer point of view, would it be fair to say that someone with Adam's chart might outshine someone who has, say, a chart that's a double Pisces and a Leo and or possibly Virgo rising?
Earmuffs. Wait, this doesn't work. I heard the question. Oh.
I mean, is he a Pisces rising? Is Tim Pool Pisces rising?
Tim Pool is double Pisces, and he claims to be a Leo rising, but I think he is a Virgo rising.
I mean, if he's a Leo rising, then you have a big fucking problem if you're co-hosting with him.
Maybe he is a Leo rising.
Yeah, because the thing is that Leo,
he is a Pisces. So.
He is a Pisces, but if he's a Leo rising, Leo is the king of the jungle. Like, you're in his home. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe I am wrong about him being a Virgo rising.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, it's really interesting. We'll have to find out. But the thing is that both Sagittarius and Leo, for fire signs, they're both fire signs. But out of the two fire signs, Sag and Leo do not typically get along because Sagittarius doesn't, Leo like growls, like it's the king of the jungle, the lion, right? So it has a tendency to like throw its weight around and sort of, they can be bullies at times. They're like, they're like cats. Like
they try to.
Yeah, they try to. And Sagittarius is so like chill out, but don't fuck with them or they'll cut a bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
like you have to really push them hard, but when Sagittarius gets mad, they don't really have much tolerance for the whole Leo thing, if that's the case. But isolating your chart, you need that freedom to be able to take things over. Because the thing is, the Pisces part of you is going to feel so much for your co-host that you're going to suppress yourself to make them feel better. And then the Sagittarius part is going to be like, but what about me? And it's like this conflictual thing. Just do your own thing.
Yeah, I mean I think that might be why people didn't like me or know me at first when I was on the show, because I didn't really. I came into the show thinking it was for I didn't it was his thing. I then I found my voice and then I found my platform and I'm like, hey, I actually am really comfortable here. I'm going to start doing all this research so I know what I'm talking about also. And then it went from, there was a point, I don't know, maybe during the middle of March or something, the longest month of the year. I don't know if you remember March.
March lasts like 87 years.
Yeah. Well, we're in September, so woo. But yeah, there was definitely a shift that happened. I could see that, where I just started, it became the Tim and Adam show. And it was supposed to be TimcastIRL talking about, bringing guests on, which is what he's doing now. So I could see that it was not, I was fine with it, honestly. I had no problems. I was having a great time. I really enjoyed being on that show. So, but I think I'm going to do really well on my own. I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. I have an incredible following. I'm so grateful for the amount of people that followed me. When I left, it's encouraging. It's showing me that I have something that they want, and I think it is that what you're explaining. The how I help people. I forget how you phrased it earlier. That people get charged up or something. What did you say earlier about?
Well, I think you electrify people, so you wake them up. You just your presence. I mean, in talking, obviously, because. One of your greatest talents is communication, especially with your Taurus moon, with your voice, but also your third house sun conjunct Mercury. Like when you talk, that's even more so.
Yeah.
But just your presence is going to electrify people. And that's why, I think, and that's why music, I think in a lot of respects is something that, that obviously you can go even further with should you desire to,
Yeah. Well, I will. You'll see me.
Pisces service is very emotional and it's very much spiritualized, writing music or singing music or caring for people and being compassionate. Taking a lot in. Like Pisces, the problem with Pisces is that it's the gift as well is the same as the curse, is that it's they don't have really boundaries. Like they're feeling everything, which I think it's extraordinary for yourself and other Pisces who are doing stuff in the political landscape. I mean, I think that's amazing because you're taking so much in, and so much of it is negative that it just seems like it's a lot. You know what I mean? I don't know how a Pisces can typically do that. You know what I mean?
My first week of doing TimcastIRL was tough, I guess. I felt everything you just said. It felt like I did that within the first week. You know, I realized that I didn't want to be Tim. You know, he does news. That's what he does. He's a news guy, news reporter, news reader, whatever you want to call him. And it's just not what he brought me on for. I wasn't supposed to read the news. I was supposed to be doing my own thing and be like, no way, that's what's happening in the news. And so when I started Timcast, I was like, well, I'll just keep reading the news because that's what, and it's been working, but I'm leaning more and more into, I don't care about the news as much as Tim, and I want to hang out with the people that have followed me. So I'm still going to talk about the news. I had an episode or a clip that said the future of Timcast, and it's one of my biggest clips on my channel right now, because and most of the comments on that video were, it doesn't matter, do you?
Right.
Like we're gonna hang out with you, like we like you, like you're the reason we're here. And it's like that felt so good. It made me realize I can do whatever I want to do. I'll still show up and do the news that I find, because I still peruse the news. You can't close that eye when you start paying attention to the news and realize how important politics are for the everyday life that you live in. So yeah, I think and then of course as I said, I've done more scheduling now. So but within that structure, I feel like I grew up a lot. I'm in my 30s now, but I've been living on vacation. It's been a joke with all my friends. Like I've vacationed forever through my adult life. And I've been so lucky through my whole life, like just everything that has happened for me. But this January, funny enough, I realized, I was like, I'm really bored. I want to do something with my life. I want to make a difference. And I said this to Nishra, my wife, I said, I'm going to choose to take every single opportunity that comes to me. And the next day, no joke, the next day, Tim Pool called me and said, do you want to do the show with me? And I was like, yes, absolutely. So now I'm here. Now I have my own show. I have my own platform. It's just how fast it's come along. It's incredible. So
I almost wonder, it makes me think, because I mean, because Joshua is actually my coach in real life, so we cool. Talk all the time extensively, and we talk about how sometimes you need to go through certain experiences to set you up for the thing that you're supposed to do. And I think with how big the thing with Tim got so quickly, it could seem as though like that's the thing we're supposed to do, because you guys reached so many people and you had so many people who loved you and found you from that show. But maybe it was going through that process of getting yourself into a routine of reading the news to understand it, to red pill, to see what's going on in the world, to, because you had to do that every single day. Like that is no joke. And that was what you needed maybe to set yourself up for what you're doing now, which is to be on your own and talk about what you want to talk about. Yeah,
it's much more fun this way. No one's telling me I'm wrong too. That's kind of nice.